Children have no business having an infertility pad, an iPad, I should say, because these parents, this is what's babysitting them. I see this so many times. It's babysitting them. They don't belong with iPads. They don't belong with cell phones. This technology is very, very toxic. It's radiation right there, right in that area, okay? And anybody that has this near their body is going to be in danger, going to be exposed to the radiation. Same thing with a laptop, putting it on your lap, right? That's what I call a laptop, where you're getting exposed to dangerous amounts of radiation. In addition to everything else that's in our environment, routers, power lines, all this stuff linked to brain cancer, but especially a very big risk of cancer in children. You see all these commercials about St. Jude, these hospitals, right, children's hospitals that are fighting children's cancer. Never had this problem when I was growing up, ever. Never heard of cancer was not a word that you heard very often when I was growing up. It was very rare that somebody had it. And damn sure children didn't get it or develop it. But look what's going on. Since I was a child, the food's been turned upside down on its ear. We got GMOs. We're being sprayed from the sky, worse than ever. We have radiation all over the place. These cell towers everywhere. What are they affecting? Our cells? Cell phones, right? I know I need a haircut. But I need to cover this. I really do. Wireless radiation from power lines. Let me tell you something. I had a cheap EMF detector. I'm talking about $19.99 from China. Cheap. But that thing detected radiation. I remember standing in the parking lot of the YMCA, and I had to park about maybe 20 or 30 feet from low-lying power lines that were along the sidewalk, right next to the parking lot. I took my EMF detector and I turned it on, and it was going crazy. It was going ballistic. As soon as I got out of a car, I turned it on. It was going crazy. So I walked further away towards the YMCA, and I was about 100 feet away from the power line. And it was only at that point did the EMF detector start. It started tapering down. In other words, that's at about 100 feet away from the power lines is when the radiation started tapering off, according to the EMF detector. 100 feet. You know how many cars were parked within that 100 feet of the power lines? Do you know how many cars drive by alongside that sidewalk where those power lines are for miles? And people walking under that? You know how dangerous that is? It's very dangerous. I look at these third world countries like Thailand and Philippines, these little streets, they're like alleyways, people walking in, they live in these narrow streets, and the power lines all jumbled up and they're very low. Like, it seems like you can just reach up and grab them. Think about the radiation. But let's focus on this. This radiation here that you're seeing here, the cell phone radiation, the power lines, everything. Radiation increases children's risk of central nervous tumors. It's not the tumor. Yes, it is. Tumors. Children developing tumors. Central nervous system tumors. And that's according to a peer-reviewed study published by Environmental Research. Central nervous system tumors, such as gliomas, are the second most common childhood cancer. Now, I hate that word, so I'm going to say the C word that rhymes with answer. Let me repeat that. Central nervous system tumors, such as gliomas, are the second most common childhood C word that rhymes with answer. Common. That shouldn't even be common. But parents, you're doing your children a disservice. It causes infertility. The iPad, infertility pad. Got that from the Fulton Informer. Joe of the Fulton Informer, he calls it the infertility pad, which it is. It causes tumors. All right? It causes a C word that rhymes with answer. The wireless radiation from power lines and household wiring. I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to be living in a house near a power line. Anything of the sort. There are a lot of homes that are living that are by power lines. And these people are very unsuspecting, these homeowners. And when they develop the C word that rhymes with answers, when they develop tumors and stuff, they're not going to know why. The radiation from power lines and household wiring increases children's risk of central nervous tumors. I've already repeated that, but I'm going to repeat it again till the cows come home. Prolonged tablet use also increases children's risk, especially when tablets are connected to the internet. Yeah. Do you know, I used my EMF detector. This is years ago, like 5 years ago, whatever. It was within the last 8 years, I'll say. I went live on Facebook. Before I went live, radiation was coming from my phone. But when I went live, it was through the roof. When I went live on Facebook, and that probably goes for any other platform, the radiation was exponentially higher. That EMF detector was going crazy. So, this is all dangerous. It's not just for children, but I guess children are more susceptible to developing illnesses than adults, but adults certainly will too. I'll never forget, didn't that Rhino McCain, he had the brain C's. Didn't he have the brain C word that rhymes with answer? Didn't he, in his brain? And didn't he have like unless that was Photoshop, didn't he have like a cell phone, burning of a cell phone in his side of his head? Unless that was Photoshop, but I'm sure he always had the cell phone to his head talking to someone, and that's where he got a brain tumor. These authors that came up with this study, this information I should say, compared wireless radiation exposure levels of 200 children diagnosed with central nervous tumors to the exposure levels of nearly 800 kids undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. So you have 200 children in this study that have central nervous tumors who used things like this, wireless tablets and radiation devices. Then they compared that group to 800 children undiagnosed with undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. All the children lived in Mexico City. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Let me read that again. The authors of the study compared the wireless radiation exposure levels of 200 children diagnosed with central nervous system tumors to the exposure levels of nearly 800 children undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. How the hell is 800 children in a study have central nervous system tumors, but they're undiagnosed? Does that make any sense to you? Anyway, let's just roll with it. You have 200 children diagnosed with central nervous system tumors. They compared this group to 800 children with undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. Make that make sense if you can. But all of them had one thing in common. They lived in Mexico City and were under the age of 16. This is unreal. Children are especially at risk because their central nervous systems are still developing. That's what the author said, and that's true. That's true. They're more susceptible. I mean, well, it's a bambino, man. It's a little baby, a little soft baby, and all that. They're fragile, right? They're a lot more fragile than grown-ups. So they're more susceptible to developing illnesses and tumors and stuff like that. This is what the authors also said. They also have higher water content and differing ion concentrations. So children have a higher water content than adults and different ion concentrations. Okay, it makes their brain tissue more conductive compared to that of adults for the radiation to go through. It's a lot easier because there's more water in them. It's more, and they have these these ions, and was it differing ion concentrations in the body. So when radiation, it's easy to go into them and go throughout their body, and that does make sense. That makes sense. That's why this stuff is all the more dangerous. You need to get the fuck off of your. away from your children, especially the wireless game controllers. Down by the pelvis, always down by the pelvis. Notice that down that area. Wireless radiation may penetrate. I hate that word. May go through deeper into a child's brain than adults. Okay, so just know that this radiation goes into your children a lot easier than adults. It's very dangerous for everybody, but especially children. Get this shit away from your children. And tablet use in schools have soared over the years. They're using more wireless technology. They got these like, what is it? They got all kinds of wireless shit from the ceilings in these schools. I mean, it's a lot. Schools are a lot heavily technology driven, but it's wireless and it's dangerous. I mean, hell far, we're all in electronic soup, right? So, get this crap away from your children. It's cell phone radiation linked to brain cancer. Girls like to keep it in the back of their hip pocket, their cell phones. That's going to radiate the culo. Guys, and I was guilty up until like I went down the rabbit hole. I remember years ago, I keep my crackberry in my front pocket and it would get hot. Keep it in my front pocket and then it would get like burnt, like kind of really hot where you feel burning. So I'd take it out when I started feeling, but God knows the amount of radiation. I didn't know back then. I didn't know that manual you get with your cell phone in very fine print. I'm talking about like that big. That it says that it has radiation, could cause cancer or something like that. There's a warning in those cell phone manuals that when you get a brand new cell phone, it comes with a little manual in very fine print. It says that basically they're dangerous. So I just wanted to cover that real quick. There's a lot more to it, but it disrupts sleeping patterns. Kids' sleeping problems linked to wireless radiation. That goes for all of us. Constantly looking at the screen. But again, children are more susceptible. I mean, if us looking at a computer grown-ups can disrupt our sleeping habits, right? If we can develop tumors as adults from this radiation, all the more your children can develop them. That's what the bottom line is. So, I mean, I read that paragraph over and over again. This is from The Defender, by the way. The Defender, that news site, Children's Health Defense, okay? And I read it word for word. You want me to read it again? The authors compared the wireless radiation exposure levels of 200 children diagnosed with central nervous system tumors to the exposure levels of nearly 800 kids undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. All of them lived in Mexico City. Okay, then it goes into something else right after that paragraph. This is I've been saying this for the longest time. The way they write articles nowadays, I got more questions than answers. Okay, you mentioned Mexico City. They're all under the age of 16. You said 200 children diagnosed with central nervous system tumors who were exposed to radiation compared to 800 children undiagnosed with central nervous system tumors. I mean, what is this? In order for you to know that you have a tumor inside you, doesn't the witch doctor have to diagnose you? Am I missing something here? Anyway, and then it says they live in Mexico City, and then it doesn't even elaborate. Mr. Connor, I got questions. Does Mexico City have a lot of radiation? Why did they even bring it up? Anyway, keep your children away from these wireless devices. As a matter of fact, you should be with. All of us should. They say your cell phone, keep it at least an inch away from your body. But I think the radiation goes further than that, but whatever. All this wireless shit is very detrimental, and I wish this computer system used to be hardwired. And when we went to wireless, I was like, yay, wireless. I didn't know no better. If I knew then what I know now, this shit would be hardwired. And don't have wireless game controls. Don't have AirPods in your ears because it's radiating your brain. I mean, come on, man. This is... Wake the hell up. Parents, do your kids... do right by your children. Stop having that shit babysit them, number one. Alright? They're becoming zombies. And number two is get that shit away from them for the reason is it causes cancer and tumors. Cancer disrupts their sleep. Yada, yada, yada. It is dangerous. That's what I got. Don't be a troll out there. I'm not done yet, but I'm just saying because I know these trolls showing up with their thumbs down. These thumbs down clowns are showing up. When you go low, we go high here at the Shock Treatment. Read between the lines, trolls. I see you making videos trying to sound the alarm with all this shit going on. But I digress. Let's take a look at a few short clips. It seems like these Muslims, well, they still want to push their bullshit in schools. Christian heroes are rising up in Texas. Texas patriots are done submitting. Well, you should never submit to begin with. You should never submit to begin with. Nobody should here in America to the Muslims, to any foreigners who are not here to assimilate, should never submit to the woke agenda. Things in America should not have gotten this far as they have. Well, it's good to see finally, Texas, that you're pushing back here. You have a Muslim that's trying to rewrite history and add Islam, like the Alamo thing. They're trying to say that was like that's because of Islam.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. What's your point of order? CARE's stated goal is to push Sharia law in the state of Texas, and now they're here to do it in our schools. And for that reason, Governor Abbott designated CARE as a foreign terrorist organization. Can we have the leader of a foreign terrorist organization testify for the State Board of Education?
As we've talked about twice before, the testifiers here today have a First Amendment right to testify in front of this body.
Can I ask another question, sir?
Sure.
If she is here signed up on behalf of the organization that was designated as a foreign terrorist organization, and this is one that not only the FBI called a Hamas front group, but they also...
CARE terrorist organization, these Muslims? No, you don't have a right. You don't have a fucking First Amendment right. Is this Muslim even a damn citizen of the United States?
Said that they had suspended formal ties to this organization or formal contact with them in 2008, and the governor's proclamation states they can't even own property in the state of Texas.
Well, there you go.
I understand the individual right to the First Amendment, but does that also apply if they're here on behalf of an organization?
So I've consulted with legal, and the answer is yes, they can testify. They have the First Amendment right in this context of public hearing, in so much as we do not go into vulgar content and things of that nature. And if we do, then we'll readdress it then. But hopefully, for all testimony today, we will not go there.
Okay, I won't listen to them push Sharia in our schools.
Good morning. My name is Shaimaa Zayan. I'm the Operations Manager for the Council on American Islamic Relations, Austin Chapter, a former certified Texas teacher and a graduate of Special Education and Diversity Program at the University of Texas at Austin.
So the guy got up and walked out. Okay, great, but this bitch still got to talk. All right? She still persists in the Sharia bullshit agenda, the Muslim agenda, to the school council or whatever, board meeting. So yeah, you had one member of the board get up and walk out and say, well, I'm just not going to listen to this. Okay, great. You got up and walked out, but you still had friggin' POSs there entertaining the Muslim. Entertaining the Muslim and their agenda to push all their Muslimness into our schools, indoctrinate our children into our public indoctrination systems. I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, it sounded good. It sounded good that, they're standing up, but by getting up and walking out, you still have your so-called fellow Texans there that are saying that she has a First Amendment right, even though it says right here, designated foreign terrorist organization sends paid lobbyists to Texas State Board of Education. You have a designated foreign terrorist organization sending one of the paid lobbyists, one of their own, to force an Islamic agenda, in particular on the history curriculum. And so, yeah, you had one state board member of education or indoctrination get up and walk out and say, I'm not going to put up with this. I don't want to listen to this. Okay, and this bitch right here still gets to say what she has to say. All right, so you got to watch the title. A lot of these titles of these videos, they're misleading, because you'll think that I was led to believe that you'll have someone stand up and go, "F you, get the F out," blah blah blah. No, it didn't happen. He just said, "Well, well, I'm not going to stand there and take this, so I'm just going to walk on out. Okay, this bitch got to friggin' say what she had to say. She doesn't have a First Amendment right. Is she even legal here? Huh? And also, she's a paid lobbyist of a designated terrorist organization by Governor Abbott. She has no First Amendment right, the way I see it. These Muslims, I mean, they're continuing to persist as, you know, the Iran things going on, and they try to just, they're trying to overwhelm us with so much of this, that, and, you know, this is happening over here, that's happening here, this is happening over here. I tell you what, I've said this for years. We really do need a purge of all these demons. We really do. I'm gonna say this: we need a revival like you've never seen before in this country. We really do. We need a revival like you've never seen. I don't know, I can't move that, but this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay, you're quite the the guy's. He's like, well, is she allowed to say what she has to say? Does she have a First Amendment? I mean, she is part of a designated terrorist organization. The other guy goes, well, yeah, we're unless she, you know, talks about violence and all this stuff. Unless she talks about violence, yes, she does have First Amendment, so we're not going to go there. We'll address it if we come to that, and she happens to say certain things that we deem unacceptable, we'll address that. But other than that, she can speak. Well, oh, really? If that's the case, I'm getting out. You're not a hero. You're not a hero because you got up and left. Is that a hero? This bitch still gets to... I'm glad he did that in a way, showing some... like he's not going to take it, but really, ultimately, he removed his voice from the setting, and so she has free willy-nilly to say whatever the fuck she wants. If I was him, he should have stayed there and pushed back and said, no, she's not going to speak. She's not going to say it. She's a fucking terrorist. She's promoting her Sharia Muslim bullshit and wants it in our damn friggin' schools to indoctrinate already indoctrinated children, damn it. We're not going to take that. You should have did something like that. I wouldn't have put up with that. This is ridiculous, but all right, next. Just know these Muslims are still at it. Still at it. Let's take a look at sleeper cells. All right, this guy's going to talk about you know, the Iran thing going on. I don't even know. Is it an AI war? Is it just AI they're showing us? Is it something? Is it really? Is America and Israel really being bombed, and Iran bombing our bases, and our jets getting shot down, and Israel being attacked? And all this? Is that really happening, or is it AI? Because all they got to do is show us AI. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I've been trying to look that up, but. Anyway, sleeper cells are in America, and the question is, again, are they being activated? Like I showed you Fox News last night in last night's video. Now this guy's going to talk about it. He's going to say, you know, they're not going to come in screaming. They're not going to come in waving their respective countries' flags. We already know we've been invaded. They're here, and I've already went over this ad nauseum at any rate over the years, that when they get the call, they're gonna start acting a fool. They could attack the grid. They could attack dams. They could attack a lot of things. Where people gather, stadiums, and all that, cause mayhem. And this takes me back to an article that I wish I latched on to about 4 years ago, maybe 5, talking about all these like why did so many convenience stores that used to be mom and pop owned or American owned or now ran by Pakistanis or Indians? Why is that? Is that the only countries that they just woke up one day and said, hey, I can't even do an Indian accent. I run convenience store in America. I go to this punk town over here, you go to this punk town over there. That's our dream. That's our dream, to run convenience store. I mean, is that what they did? Or is something else going on? I've been asked this a long time. What about Chinese restaurants? I love Chinese food, but it's all over the place. All over. And I noticed something. These Chinese takeouts in particular, they'll have people that run it, Chinese run it for a certain amount of time, and all of a sudden, other Chinese people are running it. Like they're rotating their staff somehow. Tag, you're it. Now it's your turn to come over here. What's going on? I mean, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. Or maybe it's something. Mexican restaurants all over the place on every fucking corner. They're even up in the mountains. Chinese restaurants up in the mountains. Mexicans all over up in the mountains. No matter where you go, it's just all over the place. Remote areas. Why is that? Is it really that popular? I know Italian food's popular, but I don't see it. I don't see it around like I see that. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is weird. That's weird. Why are these hotels and Holiday Inns? No, I won't say big hotels, but a lot of these motels or smaller hotels, I'll say like the size of Ramada or Holiday Inn Express, more often than not, they're ran by Indians or Pakistanis. What is it? They got it in their blood to be to be in the hospitality industry and to be convenience store owners. I think that's kind of weird. I don't know. Or is it maybe they're that? I don't know. I'm asking for a friend, but I do think it's strange. But then again, you got a lot of Indians that are doctors. Why is that? There's no other country. No Russians over here that are doctors. We don't have any Russian doctors in the United States, or if we do, I don't know about it. We don't have any French doctors. Or maybe we have a couple Italian doctors. But, there's a lot of other countries in the world, but it happens to be we got a lot of Indian doctors. I think that's strange, too. Isn't that weird? It's weird, I think. I don't know what to make of it, except, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's that. And all of a sudden, everything's going to shut down. Convenience stores shut down. You can't get gas. Hotels shut down. Whatever that means. I guess you can't get lodging. I don't know. Doctors, how many, I don't know. What is the percentage of Indian doctors, non-American doctors, in particular Pakistani, as Obama would say, in America? What is the percentage of that? Because if they all walk out of Big Pharma one day, how are these patients going to be taken care of if a bulk of our so-called medical staff walked off one day? I don't know. I'm just asking. I just find a lot of things weird. It's weird how certain particular countries have pretty much infested our society the way they have. But let's take a look. They don't come in screaming or waving flags. They're living ordinary lives like everyone else until the time comes.
They don't come in screaming and waving flags. They don't kick your door down. They mow lawns. They coach soccer.
They mow lawns.
Maybe they even sit 3 rows behind you at church. Sleeper cells don't look like enemies. That's the point. When nations strike overseas, retaliation doesn't always launch from across the ocean. Modern asymmetric warfare has always relied on embedded networks. Iran's IRGC has used proxies for decades. Hezbollah has operated globally. That's not conspiracy, that's documented history. And over the years, we've allowed millions of people into the country, unvetted. Sleeper assets don't activate during calm. They activate during escalation. When tensions spike, intelligence agencies don't just watch borders. They shift focus inward. Infrastructure, soft targets, crowded events, transportation hubs, power grids. Because if retaliation happens, it won't look like an invasion. It'll look like disruption, chaos, fear. Attacks designed to shake public confidence. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People capable of that don't look like movie villains. They blend in. They build normal lives, and they wait. So what do? You raise your awareness levels. You watch behavior patterns, repeated surveillance of secure locations, unusual interest in security layouts, and testing access points. Could be vehicles lingering where they shouldn't be. That's what counter-terror training actually teaches. And if something crosses the line from odd to concerning, make sure to report it to law enforcement. And more importantly, stay armed, always. And keep your situational awareness on point. This is America. There's a gun behind every blade of grass. Stay frosty.
I don't know what the stay frosty part means, but there's a gun behind every blade of grass, but what good is it if most of the gun owners are asleep? I don't know, but your head needs to be on a swivel. It's getting real out there. Don't be a troll. If you see a troll say something, I am